And then using my cutter bee scissors, just going to cut a little strip there and a little strip there. And that finishes my edge off very delicately. Keeps the ribbon in place so I don't have to worry about it. You can see on the inside here, it's nice and straight on the inside as well. Okay, so now my next step is going to be to decorate the front of my book. And the way I'm going to do that is, I've cut a piece of Chocolate Kiss cardstock and a piece of the patterned paper from the freebie Peachy Keen digital pattern paper, and I'm just going to layer those together. And for those of you wondering what type of paper I like to print my digital paper on, I just pick up some presentation paper at my local office supply store and I print it right on there. It's a very, very nice thin paper, but it's got just a little bit of a sheen to it, and it really, really grabs the ink from the inkjet well. Gives you a very, very good detailed finish. Okay, so now this is going to go on top of here. I'm going to take one more little piece of that ribbon because I want it to all coordinate, and just cut that down like that. And then I'm going to flip it over and add a little bit of my glue glider in there and just fold it over. Now I'm going to make sure that it's straight on this side before I attach it. There we go. Okay, nice and straight. Now my next step is, what I've done is I've used one of the Nestabilities Labels 1 dies, and I've cut this fancy label shape out that I'm going to apply onto here, but it's still in the die. And the reason why I left it in the die is because I want a sponge on top of that to give it a little bit of a lighter edge. So I'm going to take some of my Vivid taupe ink and a sponge dauber and ink up that dauber. And while it's still stuck in the die, I'm just going to pound some of the taupe ink all over the surface, but mostly right along the rim. And you'll see how pretty this looks. This is a great way to create a layered look when you only have one die. Now I could have cut two because there is a next size up Labels 1 die, but it's quite a bit bigger. And I really just wanted a little tiny rim around the outside as my highlight. And you'll see how by doing this sponging you can achieve that effect. All right. And I know I left it a little bit light in the center, but that's okay because that area is going to be covered up. Now, when I pop this out of the die, you'll be able to see how the outside perimeter is a lighter color craft cardstock now than the inside. So that's my first step. I'm going to lay that down and then place that on top like that. I'm going to use a little bit of my Glue Glider Pro. And I'm going to make sure that the little points on this label actually are in the center of the ribbon, like that. And then I'm going to add a couple of brads. So using my Making Memories paper piercer, I'm just going to pop a hole, and then I'm going to make sure that the hole goes all the way through, that it's big enough. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just pop a hole. And I'm using the little points here as my guide so that I know that they're even. Same thing on the back. Okay. And now I'm going to place my copper brads. There are two different kinds of brads that come in this kit, black and copper. Either one will look really pretty. But since I'm working more with the browns on this particular project, I'm going to use the copper. So there, I popped one into one side and one into the other side. There. Now I've created a nice frame for my focal image. For my focal image, what I've done is I've stamped the oval from the Organize It kit, and then I've also stamped it again on some of this peachy keen paper. And then I've cut it out and paper pieced it right on top of those two areas. And then I've cut the oval with a classic scalloped ovals Nestabilities die, and then I've cut a scallop for the outside using the classic scalloped ovals Nestabilities die. And I'm going to pop that right onto the center there, using the two brads and the two little dents from the oval to line everything up and make it straight. And again, using a little bit of glue glider for that. I'm going to put that into place. You can see how pretty that looks. There. And now my final step to finishing up this journal is to attach my focal image piece right on top of the journal. And that I'm going to do with a little bit of score tape, because I need a little bit of extra help here, making sure that this doesn't come off if it's thrown in my bag or wherever I want to take it. I want to make sure it stays on there really, really well. Okay. And now going to line it up, make sure it's straight, top and bottom, and done. Such a pretty, soft journal. Now the next thing I'm going to do is make a pen to match. And there's a couple different types of pens that you can use. For this particular journal and pen set, I'm going to use the Pentel RSVP pens. And you can buy those in smaller packs or in these larger packs of 12 at your local office supply store. What's nice about these pens is because they're all clear, you can just remove the barrel and you can put anything you want inside to make it match your project. So in this case, I've cut a small piece of the Peachy Keen cardstock, and I'm just going to start it by wrapping it around my pen. That'll make it a little bit easier to roll. Now that I've started it, I'm going to just roll it up into the tiniest little tube that I possibly can. Like that. And then slip it inside the pen. And then replace the bottom piece. And it's that easy to have, oops, there we go, a matching pen. Now, there's other kinds of pens that you can use, and one of the other types I like is the Z-Grip by Zebra. And the reason why I like the Z-Grip comes in black, but it also comes in other colors. So let me show you another journal and pen set that I made. For this one, I used the Origins Basic Gray paper. And this one I made for vacation notes. This way I can take this journal with me when we go on vacation, and I can write down little notes about the different things that we've seen. Then when I get my pictures back, it makes it a little bit easier for me to do my scrapbooking. So I used some of the Origins paper, and then I used one of the green Z-Grip pens and added a little bit of paper inside. And that gives you just a little bit more color. And I've seen these pens in other colors like pink and black as well. Visit the Stamp TV freebies page for a PDF file that you can download and print filled with new words that coordinate with the oval frame from the Organize It kit. These words will give you additional options for creating even more types of beautiful and useful journals.